Welcome in to WTIM, your information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks so much to the sponsors that make these conversations possible: People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. On the phone line, first up today, we have Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis School District. How are you today, Superintendent Scott Dorr?
Wonderful. How are you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing super well. Thanks so much for being here with us. Let's get this thing started off on a bit of a different note. You brought something to my attention today that I have not been tracking, but there is a House bill in the works currently that is all about mascots. Now, break this down a little bit for us here, and then tell us how that's relevant to the Nokomis School District.
So, as everyone in the area knows, we're known as the Nokomis Redskins.
Yeah.
There is a House bill, I believe it's House Bill 5618, in the legislature right now, offered by a state representative from the northern part of the state, that would ban the use of all mascots or logos or names dealing with Native American heritage. And so that affects somewhere between 55 to 65 school districts in the state of Illinois that has some type of mascot or name dealing with Native Americans. And so the problem is right now is how the bill is written. The bill is written not only to ban mascots from Native American names, but to ban even the names of schools with Native American names. So in essence, from the way we read the legislation right now, we would not even be able to be known as Nokomis High School.
Oh my goodness.
We would have to change our name altogether because obviously Nokomis is a Native American name. And my argument always is, well, so is Illinois, right?
Yeah, it totally is. Yes.
So, you know, in some of our discussions, I think the sponsor is willing to amend that legislation right now to change some of that language, obviously, just dealing with the logos and the mascots. Now, this is an issue, not just for my district, but for districts all across the state of Illinois. You know, local school boards are elected for a reason. They're elected to represent the community and the culture that we represent. Redskins was actually, excuse me, Redskins was actually voted on by our community in right around 1920. And it was a community vote. I think from the research I've done, they had 4 choices to make, and that's what they stuck with. And to me, this is not a state issue. This is a local determination by the local community, by the locally elected school board, and it represents who we are. You know, obviously, Nokomis is also a reference to Native Americans, just like many of the towns, villages, and cities throughout Illinois, from our rich history of Native Americans that settled this land.
Wow. When you yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. When you're thinking about this, and you've mentioned it just so well already, the word Illinois, the state of our, the name of our state, Illinois, my high school, I'm thinking about all the high schools in my district that I went to up north. A lot of them have these names that they're going to have to change the names. And I mean, you're talking about identity. You're talking about a whole lot of different things right there. And we understand the plight of Native Americans. And we've learned a whole lot about that. Washington Redskins switched over, to the Washington football team for a while, and then just the Commanders. But what have you done? Has there been any type of education or movement to the Native American history at all in Nokomis School District? Because with my high school, Neuqua Valley, we never learned the roots of Neuqua Valley, and really no one's thinking about it. It's just a tough thing all the way around.
Sure. So, we do offer a course in Illinois history at our high school. So, we do teach about Native Americans and the settlements here in Illinois. And I think we do a great job of that. The situation, I think, arises when the General Assembly, who has a lot of important responsibilities to do, dealing with the budget, dealing with other issues that arise in the state in 2024, this is not an issue they should be tackling. This is a local issue. This is an issue that simply devalues school districts' history. and it takes away our local control in the purpose of setting up locally elected school boards.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. The way you laid that out right there, I could agree with you on a whole lot of that. And what are your thoughts? And we mentioned it over the break there, but you think about logos like the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, these are bringing a good history back to the Native Americans because there's not any type of disrespect in your Redskins logo.
Absolutely not. You know, that's not the purpose
Right.
of any of this. It's a cultural thing that dates back hundreds of years to the area and the culture and the community that was set up in this region.
Yeah.
And you even look at the Washington Redskins now. I mean, there's a movement now to bring that back.
Yeah.
And that's a movement that is actually headed by Native Americans, and some people just feel like that it's a good thing, you know, that we're trying to represent where we came from and what we do. And so we need to take all that into consideration. I know we have people in our government associations and so forth that are working with the sponsor to try to, you know, come up with some better language. But the big thing here is not only are they devaluing locally elected school boards, but the cost associated with changing everything is going to be astronomical.
Absolutely will be. Oh my gosh, you think about all of the logo changes and everything from the wording on documents. That's an entire operation that you're going to have to spearhead there. And while we're talking about Nokomis School District and schools across the state right here, it's just a tough scenario for them. Any thoughts to wrap up this conversation about this House bill that's moving through the process?
No, I hope the sponsors of the
Yeah.
legislation and the proponents of the legislation takes another view and look at it in a way to, you know, celebrate what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Scott Dorr speaking, superintendent of Nokomis School District. We're switching gears a little bit. We are in spring. You look outside and you wonder to yourself if we actually are in spring, but spring sports are in full effect right now. How are spring sports going over there in Nokomis School District?
Hey, so far we're doing great. So, you know, second year of track, we've already had a girl qualify to go to the indoor state track meet this year.
Wow.
So that is awesome news. Softball and baseball are in full swing. You know, both teams are doing pretty well. And we're just hoping that the weather stays out. I was kind of looking at the forecast for the month of April. And I only saw 5 days in the entire month of April that had sunshine on it.
Goodness.
So I hope that's wrong, of course, and I hope the sun comes out and the kids are able to get out and participate and play and have some great competition with surrounding schools.
Yeah, absolutely. The spring sports season is definitely my favorite. And as we go out to commentate baseball and softball, we're constantly keeping our phones on to make sure there's information on cancellations and such. Have you guys been dealing with any cancellations or movement of these games?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with the cold weather we've had all that rain in the last couple of days. We've had some cancellations, so it's tough when you already have a jam-packed schedule to reschedule. You know, we try to make sure that we reschedule conference games. You know, as a former AD myself, it's a difficult task to do, but you know, that's what we focus on. We want to make sure we get the kids out there and let them enjoy their high school career.
Absolutely. And second year for track. That's really great. And you guys are finding success already. Talk to me a little bit about that starting up of the track team again.
Yeah, so we started track last year for both the boys and the girls team. They had a great year. We had a couple kids qualify for state and place. Kind of brought in another coach this year to help with that. She's doing phenomenal. Like I said, we had one high school girl qualify for the indoor state track meet. And so the kids are pumped. I can hear them out in the hallways after school when the weather's bad, practicing and you know, just gearing up to compete and make it to that state tournament, you know, that's in May. So it's fun. The kids are excited about it. I'm glad we were able to give them yet another opportunity to participate in things that they like to do.
Absolutely. All good things in spring sports over at Nokomis School District. We're speaking right now with Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis School District. We're taking ourselves a short break. When we come back, we will have more about some state testing and some end of the year things. I can't believe we're already talking about end of the school year. We're here on WTIM, your information station. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, are proud to continue their long-standing sponsorship of honoring Taylorville High School Students of the Month on WTIM's many platforms on AM, FM, and streamed online, and on WMKR Genuine Country 94.3.
Hi, my name is Ariana Presnell. I'm the daughter of Melody and Chris Presnell, and I'm the Taylorville High School Junior Student of the Month. For extracurricular activities, I'm in the Colors of Pride Club at THS and Girl Scouts. I like to read, draw, and roller skate, and in the future, I plan to own my own coffee and bakery shop, and my favorite subject is Spanish.
People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, salutes these great Taylorville High School students on this honor and wish them the best in their future. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
It's no secret that employers are having a difficult time hiring qualified personnel, whether full or part-time. The Miller Media Group wants to help you, the employer, to find the candidates you're looking for. That's why we've created IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. This website is part of a broad radio and internet employment campaign available through the Miller Media Group. Contact your account manager or email sales@randyradio.com for more information. IllinoisJobPost.com is where we put the power of radio and the internet to attract prospective candidates.
There's only one Central Illinois radio station that brings you the memories of the 60s and early 70s as you are cruising down the streets of your hometown. The dial position is 98.3 FM. The station is 98.3 WSVZ. From Macon to Vandalia and I-55 to I-57, cruising 98.3 plays the hits from early Elvis in the 60s to the British invasion of the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, and many more from the 1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station, playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
This is Jenny Turvey, manager of Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville. To learn more about our apartments, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Jansen's Heating and Air is the home of Dr. Comfort, focusing on customer care for heating and air conditioning across Central Illinois for some 35 years. Find out their services, specials, and coupons by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to WTIM, your information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Before we continue with this great conversation, we'd like to thank the sponsors that make it possible, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. We're speaking with Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis School District, over the phone. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time being here with us today.
Hey, no problem, Tim. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, it's awesome talking to you. Let's talk a little bit about some end of the year production here, finishing up some state testing. Of course, this was kind of happening throughout the second semester here, but what has the conversation been like for state testing? How's that been going?
So, yeah, obviously every year we do state testing with our kiddos from third grade to eighth grade. And so, you know, they take math, science, and English language arts tests. We got most of the testing finished up last week with some makeups this week. And then I think our junior high is going to be doing some more testing next week to get this all wrapped up for the end of the year. And obviously, you know, we wish the kids well, and we'll get those results back sometime in the fall. Those tests do provide us with good data that we can use to make changes in our instructional patterns and things like that. See what the kids actually need and make program adjustments as necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So
probably interesting where you can just see that data and immediately know your points of focus there. I mean, is that a yearly thing you guys do and all sit down as a board, a committee? What does that look like?
yeah, so each school has a committee. Each school building has a committee that reviews their data by school, and then we review it administratively by district to look at that and see where did we make our goals? Did we reach goals? Did we make the necessary improvements we wanted to make? And we not only look at what the overall scores were, but we look at growth. Did we see growth amongst our students? In the last couple of years, we've seen some great growth happening with our kiddos. So we're obviously looking for that as well. And then we can dive deeper into that data to look at individual students to see, where we need to make some adjustments in their programming, or, if we have to put them into another service, such as one of our Title I reading or math services, just to make sure that they're meeting all their individual goals and needs for education as well.
Yeah, and just seeing the trend moving in a positive manner. That's the most important part here. You try not to compare yourself to other districts, I'm sure.
Absolutely
Right.
not. I mean, this is information that we use locally to make local decisions, for what's best for our students.
All right, awesome. Talking a little bit about finishing up the state testing. I know the students are happy those are over. I'm sure the educators are as well. Get back into their regularly scheduled programming there. But that's really, really great. Now let's talk a little bit about graduation. Can't believe I'm talking about it, but there are some exciting seniors already out there. They're getting closer to it.
Absolutely. We know that senioritis has set in. So trying to keep our seniors motivated. 2 more months of school left. Graduation's on May 24th, that Friday evening, where we'll be more than happy and happy for them to walk across that stage to get their diplomas and move on to the next stages in their life, whether it be, we have kids not only going to college, we got tons going to trade school next year. The military, obviously, and some will go straight to the workforce. And I'm positive through our programs, our vocational programs, our college level programs, that kids are going to be more than prepared to get out there and do well for themselves.
Absolutely. But probably biggest goal there is leaving the Nokomis School District in a productive manner with a productive future there, and that sounds really great. Senioritis, of course, it's almost a cliche at this point, but you ever hear conversations of educators trying to keep these seniors engaged for these last 2 months? They got to hang on.
Absolutely. I mean, that's part of the process,
Yeah.
right? That's part of teaching. Even when I taught high school back in the day, and it's been a few years ago that I've done that. It's keeping them engaged in the learning process, and keeping them focused on the prize, right?
Yep.
The prize obviously is that diploma and that final transcript that says you met all the criteria set forth by the board and by the state of Illinois, and you're ready to go out and be an adult.
Absolutely. Really is a special feeling to look at those certificates of high school, college, graduation, knowing you did it right there. No one can take that from you. We're congratulating the class of 2024 right here. That is really awesome. Mr. Scott Dorr, we're in our last minute here. Any final thoughts, end of the year plans for the rest of the students out there? Anything you'd like our listeners to know?
Hey, we're gearing up for some great field trips for our elementary kids here in the next month or so. Their annual field trips to various spots like aquariums and museums, and some educational programming that they would not necessarily get in the classroom, and those are always fun and exciting for the kids to do. And we're going to wrap up this school year on a positive note.
Love to hear it. Scott, thank you so much for taking the time being here with us today.
Have a great day.
You as well. That was Scott Dorr, Superintendent of Nokomis School District. Always a pleasure to talk to Superintendent Dorr. Thanks so much to the sponsors that make these conversations possible. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you all for tuning in.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.